I'm beginning my walking and talking today. The widest paths can often go the deepest, so excuse me, I don't precisely know how I'm going to start the video. Just took sleep minerals and caffeine, so my stomach acid is causing me to burp, because that's what happens when acids and bases react, as they release hydrogen gas. So, walking causes my brain to switch on. So I always get ideas by walking. So I've realized that in the production of videos like I do, I have committed to producing videos. Well, I guess this is interesting. I'll talk about what I have committed to doing. Like, what am I doing when I'm doing what I'm doing? That was a question I was asked by a book, Falling Upwards by Richard Rohr, which talks about the two halves of life. Getting the skill of holding this steady while I walk around. Someone yesterday was talking to me while I was doing this and asking me if I was a YouTuber, and I told her I was an industrialist. And I thought about my effect on the world through all the effects I have of doing this that aren't the videos themselves being uploaded, and then the effect of the videos being uploaded. I think that people seeing me walking around making videos does have an effect on the consciousness of humanity. And like the fact, like, my family sees me making videos and my friends see me making videos, like, people see me and interact with me, as I make these videos, so that becomes a part of the grand. That smells like pot. It's fine, but sometimes you just get a strong whiff of pot. You're like, someone's smoking pot. But ultimately, I'm going to slow down my walking. There's an effect that has. And ultimately, I'm walking right now in order to toughen my feet up. Like, people will talk about, like, I'm like 182 pounds. I'm very lean. I'm at like 10% body fat, 8% body fat. Extremely strong. High level muscular density, 5'9", 182 pounds, like 8% body fat. You do the math, how much lean body mass that is. A lot of lean body mass. So people will talk about larger people having less endurance and being less able to, like, run long distances. All this stuff, like just the wear on your body, man, your joints. And ultimately, I just walk barefoot. Like, I'm just training my body. Because they're thinking about it wrong. They're thinking about it in such a limited way. They're thinking, oh, my body is such and such, and therefore it has certain limitations, and that's it. And it's like, actually, no. Like, your body, like, when you're born as a baby, you don't have any structure in your body at all. Like, there's no structure. It's just like your body's like barely held together. And then you move around, and by moving around, you strengthen your tendons and ligaments and bones to handle the stresses of life. And you continue doing this until at some point you just stop doing it. Around the age of 12, usually. And then at the age of 22, you start saying, I'm not young anymore. And then at the age of 32, you start saying, I'm getting old. And at the age of 42, you're like, I'm old. And it's like, actually, no, you just stop moving your body in a way that developed it 30 years ago. Like, that's all that happened. But if you continued moving your body in a way that developed it, you would continue to develop your body. That's all it is, because your body is a self-reinforcing developmental machine. So when I walk barefoot, not only do the bones in my feet and the tendons in my feet and the muscles in my feet make adaptations, and the skin on my feet make adaptations, and the fascia in my feet make adaptations to allow me to walk barefoot. But my circulatory system makes adaptations that allow my body to help my feet recover from the stresses. And not only does my circulatory system make those changes, but the overall circulatory system of my body adjusts in a way that accounts for daily recovery from physical activity without stress. And not only does that happen, but the mitochondria in every tissue of my body optimizes itself to support states of being on a daily basis that support states in which my body optimizes itself for the daily improvement of a circulatory system that supports the recovery from activities that place stresses upon the ligaments, muscles, tendons, and bones in my feet. And not only does all of this happen, but my brain continually optimizes micro movements in order to optimize the flow of kinetic energy, in order to optimize my schedule, in order to optimize. So not only, and then my brain optimizes not only across each step right now is my brain relaxing my body so that I can so this is literally like what's going on when I'm walking barefoot. This is what makes me so athletic. I'll keep going. So not only is all of that going on, but my brain is also monitoring the moment-to-moment change and rate of change in the adaptation of that system and adapting my micro movements and macro habits in order to optimize for the adaptations that make that system maximally fun. Fun being the state of dopaminergic equilibrium at which my brain and body are pushing the sustainable edge of development of skill and habit at the rate of adaptation that my body has assessed that it is capable of. Every single day, better and better. And I do that with push-ups and kettlebell swings and jiu-jitsu solo drills and meditation breathing exercises and journaling and making these videos and pretty much everything else that I do in my life. I kind of apply the same human pattern of development that I've observed myself to naturally fall into that could be considered something of a natural law, but yeah, I would say it's a natural law. I would definitely say it qualifies as a natural law. So now my mouth is getting dry, and I'm some ways away from my car, so I have to walk back to that if I want some water. I'm going to make a few videos because it's a good use of my time, but what am I doing when I'm doing what I'm doing? That's a good question. What am I doing when I'm doing what I'm doing? I am improving my ability to monitor the rate of the influence of my habits upon my own self-improvement, including my ability to detect the efficacy of said system. I would say that's what I'm doing. That's ultimately what like human beings are doing. And now there's a greater ability for human beings to do that than ever before through the internet. So I'm ultimately aligning myself with that by participating with it, because I've basically, like, I don't know. I mean, I am a particular being with a particular history and a particular nature and origin and peculiarities unique to me that you could find out if you wanted to explore my channel at all. And these have put me into a position in which this is the most efficacious path forward for a being such as myself. That is what I'm doing. Like, I like to talk. Got a lot to talk about. People like to watch videos. So I developed the skill of talking into a camera and making these videos. And there's a degree to which, like, well, I guess, like, they're getting a lot of views on Rumble. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of like, why do people watch my videos? But I would watch my videos because I find them interesting. Like, I find these skills interesting, and I think that I really anticipate that a lot of the future is going to be me making more specific video documentary series that explain very specific concepts, and that those will get extremely popular, and then a select group of people will go throughout my video library and then curate edits of me talking to explain other things, simply because there's so much content that you could actually get a lot of traction simply by doing that. And that I'm going to develop the skill to do that by doing this, and just the habit of doing that. Like, there's a certain just like I want to win a world championship in jiu-jitsu, so I do a lot of push-ups. Like, I want to succeed at something physical, so I do a lot of physical stuff. Like, I'm going to be walking barefoot at a pretty good pace for the next maybe about an hour, and that is going to make my feet probably not sore, but I'm going to do it again tomorrow. And just continuously do this for the whole summer. And like, I finally gotten to the point where I can really put some miles on. Like, it's taken me like 3 years to get to this point. Yeah, like 3 years to get to this point. Because my feet, when I first started doing this, well, when I first started walking around barefoot, I was a kid. And then I kind of stopped around like 18. Like, because I was just like, it's kind of a pain in the butt to walk around barefoot all the time. Like, you're a little bit of a social outcast. People act weird. I'm like, I'll just try wearing shoes. And then at 22, 23, I was like, oh my God. I'd say like 22, wow. Just 4 years, and then I'm 27 now, so like 5 years? Yeah, I mean, I think I got back into walking, and I had to get back into walking barefoot specifically. Because, well, no, I did that a little bit, and then I kind of got away from it again. So there's some inconsistencies, because I never really got away from it entirely, but like, as a practice, as an actual training practice, it is really powerful. Like, it is one of the most powerful training practices that I've ever engaged in, because walking barefoot is really what gives me the ability to run. Because, like I said, my body is monitoring feedback from micro movements in my feet as I'm running. So I simply have more sensors, more sensitivity available in the sensors for optimizing force distribution. Like, think about like running as like, I'm putting force into the ground. I have to time it. There's a lot of people who don't think about running. They're like, oh yeah, you're just running. And I'm like, no, I'm like literally shifting my weight from one foot to the other foot, landing it on a specific part of my foot that I'm using in a specific way at a specific point with specific timing and a specific gait with specific posture. To like there's so much that goes into it. Like, just like a slight thing is I could have like perfect running form, and then I could simply increase my stride cadence by 2. So I have double the number of footfalls in the same amount of time. And now there's half as much force, but my legs are moving at twice the speed. And then I can simply relax and reduce the speed, and now find a cadence that my body can sustain while undergoing less force, simply by manipulating timing in that way. Like, that's a thing I do when I'm running all the time. I train my body when I'm running. Like, that's what I'm training when I'm running. I'm training this movement ability that I use in fighting to conserve energy. Like, how do I move while conserving energy? It's these really specific postural timing movement things. Like, I'm like really trying to remain perfectly balanced and perfectly timed in my movements while I'm moving. And the ability to do that enables me to implement my style to the highest ability that I have. And I train the ability to train that by walking barefoot. That's how I do that. Like, you can't just train that ability. you have to first have a basis for that ability, which comes from the ability to walk for miles barefoot, relaxed every day without getting sore. Like, once you can do that, once your body has the hardware and the software, because there's the hardware, which is you have to have physical adaptations in your feet and in your posture and everything to do that. And there's the software, which is actually that's just actually like being able to put your body in that posture, regardless of the adaptation. And then there's the feedback between the hardware and the software. Like, the hardware allows you to get the software, and the software allows you to develop the hardware. So there's that feedback, and that's really what I'm chasing. I'm chasing that feedback loop between the hardware and the software. And that's what I'm achieving. And I'm achieving that with like everything in all of my training, is this feedback between the hardware and the software. Like, there's the ability, and then there's the ability to train the ability. Because someone said something really interesting about James Bond. Like, how did he train the ability to do that? And it's like, how would he practice that? And I've thought about that, and I think I've come up with a satisfactory answer. The answer to how James Bond or anyone trains the ability to do that is, there's like general physical preparedness, like a lot of push-ups. Like, you got to just have a really high metabolism, super athletic, like just the ability to move your body athletically for long periods of time, like large amounts of push-ups, walking, body weight squats, all this stuff. Like, this is the way. Like, how do you, like, think about like a medieval knight. Like, how did a medieval knight or anyone fight for hours? You have to just train your body to be able to just sustain anything that comes at it. And I would say, and like, you can look at my channel, for example, as that style of training. I have a lot of that all over the internet, and I'll continue to make more. So leave any questions if you have questions. I may make a video responding to that if it's well thought out. I love responding to a well thought out question. So ultimately, it's like, how do you train to win a world? Like winning a world championship, I would say, is good practice for James Bond stuff. Winning a wrestling tournament, like, that's really good practice, because you're coming up against someone else who's trying to be James Bond. And that's ultimately how you do that, is like, I don't have to outsmart the situation. I just have to outsmart everyone in the situation. And how do you do that? Well, you have to get ridiculously good at just kind of like figuring out how to beat people. Like, that's what it is. And I think that the best way to do that is like wrestling. Literally, like, wrestling, I think, is the best way to do that. Second would be like no-gi jiu-jitsu. I think wrestling and no-gi jiu-jitsu are the two best ways to train that ability. Hunting as well, to a degree, but like not really hunting. Hunting helps, but I mean, it's like you have to train yourself to... hunting, these are good supplemental, but you have to... Well, I don't know. I mean, you have to like encounter reality in some way. I think that, let's say you could figure out that you had those skills. I don't think it's really a matter of training. I think it's a matter of like, you simply become a person who's able to do that. Like, this is what I found in life, is that I don't really train myself to do a certain thing. Like, how do you win a wrestling tournament? Okay, I'll get really specific. How do you win a wrestling tournament? You don't win the wrestling tournament by rehearsing a whole bunch of moves that you plan on using to win the wrestling tournament. Like, yes, you do that, but that's like 20% of it. That literally is only 20% of it. Maybe like 10% of it. It's not that much of it. Most of it is simply accustoming yourself to the physical and mental demands that will be placed upon you in the span of that competition. That's like 80% of it. That's 80% of it. The other 20% of it is just like knowing what to do and training your ability to do that. That's it. Like, that's literally it. It's just, the rest of it is just pressure and the sheer intensity of the physical forces that are on your body. Like, what's the difference between me and someone who's like really good at Kung Fu but never fought before? The difference is he knows a lot more moves, and I am a lot more physically resilient and a lot better at exerting a tremendous amount of concentrated physical pressure with impeccable timing. Like, that's all I do. Is like, I don't do moves, I just exert pressure. And then I do moves too. But it's like, I'm not doing moves. Like, I'm mostly... It's like if you fight a bear, what's the problem? The problem isn't that the bear's got a great jab cross. The problem is it's a bear. What's the problem with a bear? The problem with a bear is F equals MA. It's just the sheer amount of force that that creature can exert into your body is terrifying. That's really the problem. And that's the problem with most things in life. Like, you see someone climbing around a plane and knocking out a pilot and like doing Indiana Jones type stuff. It's like, well, how does he do that? It's like, well, he's just like really physically fit. So if there's a question of doing a pull-up or physically maneuvering himself, he can probably figure out how to do that. He's got really good endurance. So once you have the physical fitness down, which is acquirable, you can acquire that type of fitness, and I can show you how to do it because I've done it. And I've lost it, and I've done it again, so I can show you that's not even just my own unique ability or something that's just a gift of mine. It's like literally just a result of these training practices that I've developed and found over the years. Developed/found. I mean, I think you got to do a mix of both. Like, I don't know if exactly what I do is going to work for everyone, but a very close variant of what I do based on the principles of what I do is going to work for everyone. Because it's just the physical principles of life. So ultimately, you have the physical fitness down, and then you just develop the ability to perform under pressure, like wrestling, boxing. These things really just teach you to perform under pressure. That's really what they're doing. And it's like real pressure. It's like there's actual imminent threat of physical injury, of like potentially permanent physical injury and brutal embarrassment at any given point in time. Like, this is real. It's not super dangerous. Like, you're probably not gonna die, you know, like, it's pretty safe as things go. Like, if you ski, it's like, okay, well, this is about as risky as skiing, but you're dealing with that risk constantly, and in a way that you're not with skiing, because skiing is more like leisurely, whereas like there's this relentless physical pressure that people, and this pace that people put on you, and it's really pace that I think people have a hard time dealing with. And that's one of the hardest things with like raising children or just anything in life, like business, anything in life, is just pace. It's like you have to maintain this pace while pressure is being put on you and the pace is like varying. You have to try to like exert control over this pace while you're managing high level decision making and high level execution under pressure. And the pressure is these imminent consequences. And that is really like, how do you train that ability? And I would say like everyone just has this ability innately. Like, you have to believe you do. If you don't believe you do, you'll never have it. But I just believe that as like living creatures, we innately have this ability to just like survive. And what you really have to do is you have to merge training and execution to get out of your own way and just like, like a bow, like really like, and I would say it's like ultimately lack of self-belief that people have that makes them ask these questions, because it's like they're kind of like loser questions. It's like, because like, what would you think in that circumstance? Would you think, oh, I guess I'm just gonna die? And like, no, you would like figure something out, or at least if you're a winner, that's what you tell yourself you would do, and that's what you would do. You would figure something out. So fundamentally, that's what I would do. It's like I was taking my wife to shoot a bow, and she like got multiple bullseyes with the bow, and then later on we were shooting and she got that's why I got her that bow, because I was like, okay, you have an affinity for this bow because you got multiple bullseyes with it, so this will be your bow. And then she ultimately got more bullseyes later on, but then sometimes she just missed spectacularly. And she was like, well, isn't it just luck? And I'm like, no, it's not luck, because you're shooting this thing at like 40 feet away. And to get a bullseye is like, there's so much coordination. There's so low chance of that happening by mere chance that it's not luck. Like, you're making that happen. And there's like a belief in that. It's like, if I had a bow and someone was attacking me, I would be able to shoot them with the bow. Like, maybe I wouldn't be able to do that at any other point in time. I could never pull that shot off, but I could pull that shot off then. And I think that that belief itself is a prerequisite to any sort of great accomplishment like that. And I think that's ultimately what you train for. You train not because you think that training will make it so that you can just have superhuman abilities that are always accessible, but you train so that you can have highly developed normal human abilities, which enable you to develop your ability to have faith in yourself through progressive achievement and dealing with extrapolations of different circumstances competently, so that when those things happen, you find that you are capable. You don't, or you don't and you die, but there are people who have found themselves capable, and maybe you could be one of them. So wouldn't that be a great thing to find out? And isn't it worth it?